one group. 4 countries, 6 years of training, 0 guarantees. This is how Blackpink was actually built. Welcome to Pop Lore Asia. Member number 1, Jennie, the one who almost became a lawyer. 4 of the most famous women in the world almost never met each other. We're starting with the one who almost ended up in a law firm in Florida. From Seoul to New Zealand to K-pop. Jennie Kim was born in Seoul in 1996. At 10 years old, her family sent her abroad to study. First to New Zealand, then there were plans for Florida. The idea was to eventually become a lawyer. Jennie had other ideas. At 14, she convinced her parents to let her return to Seoul. Not for school, not for law, but to audition for YG Entertainment. She walked in, performed Rihanna's Take a Bow, and got in. August 2010. She was YG's newest trainee. She would wait 6 years before she debuted. 6 years as a trainee. She watched other groups debut around her and had no idea if her turn was ever coming. Jennie herself said in interviews she genuinely didn't know if she'd ever debut. The trainee years, those 6 years weren't idle. YG's monthly evaluation system is one of the most rigorous in K-pop. Trainees perform solo and in teams for judges with no guaranteed path forward. But Jennie was getting visible. She appeared in G-Dragon's That XX music video in 2012. She featured on tracks by Lee Hai, Seungri, and G-Dragon again. She was becoming known inside the YG world, a rapper, a vocalist, a visual who had quietly been getting famous before she'd officially debuted. Here's the detail that shaped the entire group. Jennie was the only Blackpink member who spoke fluent English when she joined YG. The label trained her as a rapper specifically because of that. One language, one childhood abroad, and it changed the direction of the whole group. Member number 2, Lisa, the only one, out of 4,000. In 2010, YG Entertainment held open auditions in Thailand. 4,000 people showed up. 1 person passed. And she didn't speak a word of Korean. 4,000 to 1. Lalisa Manobal grew up in Bangkok, dancing competitively from a young age. One of her childhood friends in her dance crew was Bam Bam, who would later debut with GOT7. That tells you the level she was operating at before she was even a teenager. When YG held their 2010 open audition in Thailand, Lisa showed up. She was 14. Of 4,000 applicants that day, she was the only one to pass. She moved to Seoul in 2011. She spoke no Korean. She was YG Entertainment's first ever foreign trainee. 14 years old. Alone in a country where she didn't speak the language, with no other trainees from her culture or background. She not only survived it, she became the group's main dancer and one of the most technically skilled performers in K-pop history, building visibility before debut. YG posted mysterious "Who's That Girl" videos teasing trainees online. Lisa appeared in Taeyong's Ringa Linga music video as a dancer in 2013. She became a model for YG's streetwear brand Nona 9 On in 2015. Every appearance was a breadcrumb. The audience was being trained to recognize her before they were told her name. She trained for 5 years. She never went home. Member number 3, Jisoo, the one SM also wanted. SM Entertainment is the most powerful label in K-pop. And while Jisoo was training at YG, the rival label, SM came calling. She said no. Here's why that matters. The girl both labels wanted. Kim Jisoo was born in 1995 in Seoul and attended the School of Performing Arts Seoul. She auditioned for YG in 2011 and became a trainee at 16. While training at YG, she was scouted by SM Entertainment. The fact that SM, home of EXO, Girls' Generation, SHINee, was trying to poach a YG trainee tells you everything about Jisoo's raw appeal. She turned them down. She was already committed. Fans have joked that Jisoo has experience with everything except debuting. Because during her 5 years as a trainee, she appeared in K-drama The Producers, alongside IU and Sandara Park, featured in Epic High's music video, and did commercials for Samsonite, LG, and Nikon. She was already recognizable. She just hadn't officially debuted yet. The wait, 5 years. In an industry where groups typically debut after 2 or 3 years of training, 5 years is a long time to stay in limbo. Visible enough to be recognized, but not yet officially anything. The whole group was experiencing versions of this same wait. What none of them knew yet was that YG was quietly assembling something around them. Member number 4, Rosé the One. Her dad signed up. Every member of Blackpink made a deliberate choice to audition. Except one. Rosé's dad signed her up. And she ranked first among 700 people the day she walked in. Melbourne to Seoul. Park Chae-young, Rosé, was born in New Zealand in 1997 and raised in Melbourne, Australia. She spent her childhood in a quiet suburban neighborhood, mostly at home, playing piano and guitar, writing songs, singing to herself. Music was a hobby. She had no particular plan to be a pop star. Then her father heard YG Entertainment was holding auditions in Sydney. He signed her up. She was 15. There were 700 applicants. Rosé ranked first. She walked into YG headquarters in Seoul carrying the same guitar she still plays today. Over 10 years later, during a Rolling Stone interview, she pointed at it and said, "It's older than my dog, Hank. That guitar is older than Blackpink." The fastest, the last. Rosé had the shortest training period of any Blackpink member, 4 years and 2 months. She was also the last to join and the last to be officially revealed. Almost immediately after arriving at YG, she was featured anonymously on G-Dragon's Track Without You, credited only as ? From YG New Girl Group. She had been in Seoul for under a year. Her voice was already undeniable. How they became Blackpink. 4 girls, South Korea, Thailand, New Zealand, Australia, all in Seoul, all waiting. And then one night in a dormitory kitchen, in their pajamas, they became a group. The kitchen at 3 a.m. This comes from a Rolling Stone interview, and it is one of the most human details in any K-pop origin story. The night Rosé arrived at the YG dormitory, the first night all 4 future members were in the same building, they ended up in the kitchen. No agenda, just 4 teenagers in pajamas. They jammed together until dawn. Jennie made scrambled eggs with milk. Rosé says they ate it with strawberry jam. It was delicious, Jennie remembers. Rosé says she still misses the taste. They went from strangers to a family in one night over scrambled eggs and strawberry jam. That's the real founding moment of Blackpink. Not the debut stage, not the contracts. That kitchen, the group that wasn't supposed to be 4. Here's what most people don't know. Blackpink was originally planned to have 9 members. At various points, other girls were announced, revealed, and then quietly removed from the lineup. Other rejected names included Pink Punk, Baby Monster, Dream, and TLCF. They landed on Blackpink, a name that, according to YG, meant pretty isn't everything. That the group was not just visuals, but talent. On June 29, 2016, YG confirmed 4 members. Final. And then they released 1-member teaser per week through June. Jennie first, then Lisa, then Jisoo, then Rosé, building anticipation that the internet had never quite seen from a K-pop group before. What they built together. August 8, 2016. 2 songs dropped simultaneously, Whistle and Boombaya. By the end of that first week, Whistle is #1 in South Korea. Boombaya is #1 in the United States. 2 charts, 2 countries. Week 1. The group that was never meant to exist had just announced itself to the world. The records start immediately. Blackpink didn't build slowly. They accelerated from the moment they debuted. In 2018, Do 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 dropped and became the first music video by any K-pop group to hit 1 billion views on YouTube, then 2 billion. It is still the most viewed music video by a Korean group in YouTube history. That same song made them the first female K-pop group to receive a certification from the RIAA, the American music industry's gold standard for sales. That had never happened before, for any female K-pop act, ever. And they had only been a group for 2 years. Coachella twice. In April 2019, Blackpink performed at Coachella, the biggest music festival in the world. They were the first K-pop girl group to do so, a barrier that had stood for the entire history of K-pop's global expansion. Gone. 4 years later, in 2023, they came back as headliners, first Asian act ever to headline Coachella. Their set became the most streamed live Coachella performance in the festival's history, 250 million viewers on YouTube alone. From 4 strangers in a dormitory kitchen to headlining the biggest music festival on Earth. That journey took 7 years. Most groups never get there at all. Born Pink and the Billboard Summit. In 2022, their second studio album, Born Pink, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. The first time a female K-pop group had topped that chart. The first time any girl group had topped it since Danity Kane in 2008. It became the best-selling album ever by a female artist in South Korean history. The Born Pink World Tour that followed ran 66 shows across 22 countries. Their Las Vegas show was officially the highest-grossing vocal concert by any group in recorded history. Think about the range of that sentence. Not the highest-grossing K-pop concert, the highest-grossing vocal concert by any group in history. Full stop. Fashion, culture, everything. Each member became the global ambassador for a different luxury fashion house. Jisoo for Dior, Jennie for Chanel, Rosé for Yves Saint Laurent, Lisa for Bulgari and Celine. 4 members, 4 of the most prestigious brands in the world, simultaneously. In 2022, Time magazine named them Entertainer of the Year. Rolling Stone put them on their cover. Only the 3rd girl group in the magazine's entire history to receive that honor, after the Spice Girls and Destiny's Child. Bloomberg wrote that alongside BTS, Blackpink had achieved a level of global popularity unprecedented in the history of music. Not just K-pop, music, the solo era, what each of them built alone. In 2024 and 2025, each member stepped away to release her own debut solo album. They didn't go through YG. They each founded their own label, signed their own global deal, and co-wrote their own music. Rosé's APT with Bruno Mars became the best-selling global single of 2025 according to the IFPI. Not the best-selling K-pop single, the best-selling single period. And earned 3 Grammy nominations, the most ever for a K-pop track. Lisa's alter ego featured 5 original characters, a 56-page graphic novel, an HBO acting debut, an Oscars performance with Doja Cat and Ray, and a Coachella solo headline. Jisoo's Amartage made her the top-selling female K-pop soloist in Hanteo history by cumulative sales. Jennie's Ruby debuted with 3 simultaneous Hot 100 entries, a first for any K-pop female soloist, and won Record of the Year at the 2025 Melon Music Awards. 4 solo careers, 4 debut albums, 4 completely different sounds, all released within 4 months of each other. The group didn't dissolve. It multiplied. The Deadline World Tour and Wembley. In July 2025, they returned to the stage together. The Deadline World Tour ran for 33 shows across 16 cities and 4 continents, culminating in January 2026. Among the venues, Wembley Stadium in London, making Blackpink the first K-pop girl group to perform there. The tour was their first all-stadium run, and every night they performed to audiences who had spent the previous year watching them conquer the world one solo album at a time. Rosé performed APT at the Grammy Awards on February 2nd, 2026, the first K-pop solo artist to perform at the Grammys. 6 days later, they released Deadline. Deadline, the numbers right now. On February 27th, 2026, Blackpink released Deadline, their first group EP in 4 years. Here is what that first week looked like. 1,461,785 copies sold on day 1. The highest first-day sales ever recorded by a K-pop girl group on the Hanteo chart. The previous record was aespa's My World in 2023 with 1.37 million. Blackpink are now the first female act in Hanteo history to post over 1 million copies on 2 separate albums. Go, the lead single, the first song all 4 members have ever co-written together, debuted at number 9 on Spotify's global chart. The music video hit #1 on YouTube's global trending chart within 24 hours and crossed 30 million views in days, the most watched video on the platform globally on release day. Deadline topped iTunes in 40 regions and hit #1 on the worldwide iTunes albums chart. On QQ Music, China's largest platform, all 5 tracks hit the top simultaneously, an all-kill. The EP is projected to debut at #6 on the Billboard 200. Blackpink crossed 100 million YouTube subscribers during the Deadline campaign, the first music artist in history to reach that milestone. YouTube presented them with a custom Red Diamond Creator Award on February 21st, 2026. Their channel has now accumulated over 30 billion total views. 10 years since that dormitory kitchen. 10 years since 4 girls who had never planned to be in the same room ended up making scrambled eggs at 3 a.m. and finding out they sounded good together. And right now, in March 2026, they are the first music act on the planet to cross 100 million YouTube subscribers. They have the highest first-day K-pop girl group sales in history, and they have a number on the US charts for the 10th time. The numbers have gotten bigger. The story underneath them hasn't changed. Jennie, 6 years of waiting. Lisa, the only one out of 4,000. Jisoo, the girl 2 rival labels both wanted. Rosé, the one her dad quietly signed up for an audition she never planned to take. 1 kitchen, 1 night, scrambled eggs. And then, 10 years later, the biggest girl group in the world is still here, still breaking records and still together. The numbers are staggering, the records are real, but underneath all of it is just 4 people who found each other in a dormitory in Seoul and decided not to let go. We think that's worth knowing. We're Pop Lore Asia. Thanks for watching.